Yo, what is up guys? It is Nick, or the Notorious Fantasy, back again today with another fantasy football video. Today's video is week 3 running back start or sit decisions. Before I start the video, I'd like to ask if you could please go down below and click that subscribe button, because not only does it help me, it's actually going to help you guys, because I upload videos every single day, likely for the next week right now, or every single week. You're going to be seeing like 2 or 3 videos every single day before Sunday, and I live stream Thursday night and Sunday night, so you're going to make sure you want to click that subscribe button. Also follow me on Twitter at NotoriousFNTSY. So the first game we're going to be talking about here is the Thursday night game, Jaguars at the Tennessee Titans. I would start both Derrick Henry and Leonard Fournette. Now, it seems like the Jaguars defense is good. Now, Jalen Ramsey, who knows if he'll even play Thursday night? Who knows if they're going to trade his ass? Probably not by Thursday night. But what I do know is that the Jaguars' run defense seems to suck. Derrick Henry last year absolutely tore apart the Jaguars' defense, made them look like a bitch, ran that 99-yard beastquake touchdown and I think that Derrick Henry is an easy start this week, and Leonard Fournette as well, going up against the Titans, is a pretty good matchup for him. You drafted him pretty early, so you're going to need to start him. Next game is the Dolphins at the Cowboys. So you're going to be starting Zeke. Obviously, Zeke's in every single week starter, no matter what defense he's playing. Again, he can easily score you 20-plus points in pretty much any format. And we're going to be sitting down Kenyon Drake and Kalen Ballage, mostly because the Dolphins suck, and who knows if they'll even score a point this week against the Cowboys. Next game to talk about here is the Bengals at the Buffalo Bills. And I'm going to start Frank Gore. Now, that's mainly only if Devin Singletary is out. Now, if Devin Singletary is playing week 3, then obviously you don't start Frank Gore. But if he is out, then you do not start Devin Singletary and you can play Frank Gore. Now, you're going to be sitting Joe Mixon and Gio Bernard. Now, I know Joe Mixon has been very disappointing this season. He's clearly playing with an injury. You need to just sit him down and let him get healthy. The real team needs to sit him down and let him get healthy as well. But for now, I'm just going to stick with my guns and sit him. Now, I know in some situations you may have to start him, so you're going to have to ask me a question if I would sit this guy or start him based on that. And there will be a rankings video later in the week as well with my definite running back rankings. So, the next game is Lions at the Philadelphia Eagles. And I'm going to start Kerryon Johnson. Now, news came out that C.J. Anderson got cut from the Lions, and they brought in Paul Perkins from the Giants. Now, to me, a lot of people feel like, now Paul Perkins or the other guy. There's like 2 guys on the team, another running back, whose name I forget, it's like Ty Johnson. He is going to take the targets away from Kerryon. No. I think Kerryon is still going to be great from here on out, but I am cautious starting him for the next couple of weeks because I want to see how they change the offense now with C.J. Anderson being gone, but I would still start him in a lot of situations. So we're going to be sitting down Miles Sanders and Jordan Howard. Now, I know Miles Sanders has not turned out to be the guy that we thought he was, but I told you guys at the beginning of the season to wait a couple of weeks. It may take 4, 5, 6 weeks to see once you can actually start Miles Sanders. So right now, we're in week 3. Still got a couple of weeks before I admit that I was completely wrong. So you're just going to be sitting Miles Sanders and Jordan Howard this week. The next game is the Jets at the New England Patriots, and I'm going to be firing up Mr. Le'Veon Bell. Le'Veon Bell was a top 12 fantasy pick likely in a lot of leagues. Last week he got 11 balls thrown his way. He had 30 touches on offense total between catching the ball, running the ball. He's a guy that is going to be getting a lot of use. Luke Falk is the quarterback right now. Who knows? They may bring in someone else to be the quarterback. Maybe Tim Tebow and God himself will be able to shine the light on the Jets or something. But right now it's Luke Falk and Le'Veon Bell. I think Le'Veon Bell will be getting a lot of use in this game against the Patriots. While he may not score in the game, he's still going to be getting a lot of those receptions. Now, you are going to be starting Sony Michel on the other side of the ball, as well as James White. Sony Michel last week scored that touchdown against the Dolphins. It's looking like this may be a repeat of the Patriots-Dolphins game, where the Patriots just smacked the shit out of the Jets. Sony Michel should be able to hop in the end zone. James White will be getting those dump-off passes, and I'm pretty confident starting him here. Now, I don't necessarily love him this week, but I will be starting him. The next game, we have the Falcons at the Indianapolis Colts. You're going to be starting both Devontae Freeman and Marin Mack, not Marlon Mack, Maroon Mack. Maybe that's how you say that, but whatever. Devonta Freeman has not been playing too hot recently. He has been a guy that you probably regretted starting the first 2 weeks of the season, but I think now coming into week 3, they're going to have to use him a lot more. They realize that they're going to need to start running the ball in order to get more success in their games, so I would like to think that they would run the ball more here. Obviously, they won last week against the Eagles based off on Zach Ertz not extending the ball. It's fucking stupid, but Devontae Freeman should be getting the work this week. Marlon Mack, on the other hand, also should be getting a lot of work. He's a pretty solid running back in real life. Not much of a PPR back, but is a guy that's going to be running the ball a lot, seeing a lot of touches against the Falcons this week. Next game on the slate is the Raiders at the Minnesota Vikings. You're going to be starting Josh Jacobs. Now, you need to be cautious because Josh Jacobs does have that groin injury. So, you're going to have to be looking up on Roto World. Is Josh Jacobs good? Or I don't know why I just sounded like fucking Kermit the Frog or Patrick Mahomes for a second. But I think that Josh Jacobs, he should be, if he's good to go, you play him. The Vikings defense is a decent run defense, but we saw last week Aaron Jones had his way with the Minnesota defense, so I'm pretty confident in Josh Jacobs. Now, Dalvin Cook is a guy I doubted all offseason. I thought his leg would have fallen off of him by now. Who knows? That could still happen. But while Dalvin Cook is healthy, he's a must start every single week. He is amazing running back. You saw it last week. You saw it week 1, and you can see the talent in the guy. Will he be able to stay healthy for the whole season? In my opinion, not. But will he be able to be good every single week he's healthy? Yes. So knock one time if you're with me. Let's go with Josh Jacobs this week if he is healthy. Now you can follow me on Twitter. I will be posting updates. If Dalvin Cook's out, I'll obviously tweet that out. Now the next game is Ravens at the Kansas City Chiefs. The battle between Pat Mahomes and Lamar Jackson. The running back versus the quarterback. Not really, because it seems like Lamar Jackson can actually throw the ball, but that has nothing to do with the running backs. You're going to be starting Mark Ingram of the Raiders. Not the Raiders, the Ravens. Now, I know he did not have all that hot of a week 2. He did get hurt. I thought, oh, thank God it's over for Mark Ingram. It's going to be Justice Hill time. Psych with that. He came back in the second half and played pretty well. Now, I think that Mark Ingram is a solid starter every single week. They do like to run the ball on the Ravens. Now, the Chiefs, it's a bit confusing here. Damian Williams, I believe, did not practice today as I'm recording this. LaShawn McCoy did practice, but limited. So they're both not healthy. You could play both Damian Williams and LaShawn McCoy if they're both healthy. Now, if both of them end up being out, Darwin Thompson is a sneaky start this week and could be a viable option in fantasy football this week if Damian Williams and LaShawn McCoy are both out. Now, the Broncos at the Packers is the next game. You're going to be starting up Aaron Jones. Now, I know Aaron Jones, week 1, played like shit. Week 2, they freed Aaron Jones. Hashtag free Aaron Jones. He got freed. He ran the ball a shit ton and played pretty good. Now, I think this week against the Broncos, it'll be the same thing. They're going to be giving him a lot of touches. Now, you are going to be sitting down Royce Freeman and Phillip Lindsay. It seems like both of these guys every week, it is a guessing game between which one is going to do better. Will it be Royce's week when he hops in the end zone? Will it be Phillip Lindsay's week when his afro hops in the end zone? Who knows who it'll be every single week, so I would personally just stay away from both of those guys and just lean the way of Aaron Jones on the Packers. The next game is the Panthers at the Cardinals. Mr. Walking Boot Cam Newton versus the 3-foot-tall Kyler Murray. Now, I am going to be starting Christian McCaffrey in this situation. I love Christian McCaffrey every single week. Last week, people are panicking. Oh my God, he did so shit. Get him off my team, motherfucker. He scored you like 40 points week 1, and you're already panicking. Don't be scared, all right? Christian McCaffrey is a great running back, one of the great running backs in the game, one of the great pass-catching backs in the game. I am not scared of Christian McCaffrey at all this week going up against the Panthers. Now, David Johnson is dealing with that injury. He went out of the game week 2, didn't really perform all that well, but I am confident in starting him as long as I believe it was his wrist. He has them weak wrists. He should be good to go week 3, and I'm confident in playing him. Next game is Daniel Jones and the New York Football Giants versus famous Jameis, the W Eater in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So I'm going to be firing up Saquon Barkley. Now, you're going to be playing Saquon Barkley every single week. You drafted him likely number 1 overall, or if you got lucky at number 2, he's going to be a must start every single week. The Buccaneers defense, while looks kind of good, he'll have his way with them. He'll go for 100 and a touchdown. It's like clockwork. That's what Saquon does. And you're going to be sitting down Rojo and Peyton Barber. Last week, I guess I read some fucking fake news because the coach, Mr. BA, said that it's gonna be Rojo time. And then out of nowhere, Peyton Barber just shoved his cock all the way down the Panthers' throat. But this week, I think it is going to be maybe the same thing. Maybe it is Peyton Barber time. Maybe it's Rojo time. So who the fuck knows? You just sit both of them. Same with the Denver Broncos. The next game is the Saints, led by Teddy Roosevelt, Teddy Bridgewater, Teddy B, or is it going to be Taysom Hill? Who knows? Because the coach, Sean Payton, won't even tell us. So, Saints at Seahawks. Now, you're going to be starting up Alvin Kamara here. Obviously, you drafted him high. He did not play all that well last week with the absence of Drew Brees, but I think that with a week of practice from Teddy B or Taysom Hill, we'll be able to easily figure out how to throw the ball 3 yards away from you to Alvin Kamara, and then Alvin Kamara will eat. Now, you're also going to be starting Chris Carson on the Seahawks. Now, I know last week he did not perform up to my liking. He fumbled the ball once. They take him out because Pete Carroll is one of those hardos who's an old motherfucker, chewing gum on the sideline, is a hardo, who's like, Chris Carson fumbled, let me give Penny the ball. And Penny looked pretty good. So that is kind of nerve-wracking. If I'm a Chris Carson owner, I like Chris Carson, but I am going to start him this week. I'm going to be sitting down Mr. Rashad Penny. Now, I know if you're in like a fucking 30-team league, you can go ahead and start Penny, but I'm not very optimistic for him this week. Same with Latavius Murray. I thought he would be fine last week after having a great week one. It seems like he is not the flex material. He does not have that flex appeal that I thought he had every single week. Maybe that is because Breeze was out. That could entirely be it. So I would just stay away from Latavius Murray this week. The next game is the Steelers at the 49ers, the San Francisco 49ers. So you're going to be starting James Conner if the knee is okay. Now he's dealing with that knee injury. Will he be fine to play week 3? Probably. I'm not too worried. And then on the 49ers, the 49ers side of the ball, I would start Mr. Matt Breida. Had a pretty solid game last week. And Mr. Mostert. God, he played amazing week 2. I think that is going to be a split between Breida and Mostert. Now, Jeff Wilson Jr., that guy sounds like a fucking NASCAR driver, and he is playing well. He's stealing the goal line work, scored a touchdown. I'm not confident starting him. He's not even included on this thing because I don't even think anyone would be crazy enough to start him. So I would go with Mostert and Breida this week for the 49ers, and if James Conner is healthy, he's a definite start this week. But if he's out, Mr. Jalen Samuel. Next game, here's the Texans at the LA Chargers. You're going to be starting Carlos Hyde for the Texans and Duke Johnson maybe for the Texans. Now, Duke Johnson had a pretty solid week 1 performance, but his week 2 was pretty fucking trash. Only scored like 4 fantasy points. Did not look well. Carlos Hyde, consistency is key. He scored 9 fantasy points 2 weeks in a row in PPR formats. He's just going to be that guy. Never going to score you 20 like Lamar Miller. Same shit. Duke Johnson, if they get more into the passing game, last week was kind of a trap. The Jaguars did not allow them to score too many points. I think the Chargers defense will let up more points than that. Those in-division games are always tough, and I like Mr. Duke Johnson this week, but I don't love it. Austin Eckler on the Chargers in every week start until Melvin Gordon gets back. Pretty obvious that he's the lead back on the team, getting a lot of the points, so you're going to just be sitting down Justin Jackson. I thought that maybe they would use him a lot more. It seems like Austin Eckler is just a way better back than I even perceived. He is a must. Austin Eckler is a top 10 back pretty much every single week until Melvin gets back. Now, the Rams at the Browns. What an amazing matchup here. We are going to be starting Todd Gurley of the Rams. I know he hasn't been performing all that well, but I know I told you guys at the beginning of the season that drafting him was a risk. He is very risky with that arthritis knee, but I am still starting him every single week because he has that potential to be that top 5 back, the number 1 fantasy back every single week. He has that talent. Nick Chubb, on the other hand, on the Browns, played amazing last week, played a pretty solid week 1. If he didn't get vultured by Damian Hilliard, he would have probably scored. He definitely would have scored. So he would have had like 18 fantasy points week 1. Had a pretty solid week last week against the Jets. Should look to score more against the against the Rams this week. You're going to be sitting Malcolm Brown. I know a lot of people are crazy. They're starting Malcolm Brown. You can't start him unless you're in a really deep league. I'm not comfortable starting a guy who I know will only get like 5 or 6 touches unless Todd Gurley goes down and is probably only has the chance to like vulture a touchdown, and that may not even happen. The final game, the Monday night game, is the Bears at the Washington Redskins. You're going to be starting David Montgomery and Tariq Cohen from the Bears. Now, I know David Montgomery week 1 looked like shit. Week 2, they just fed him the ball on the 1-yard line. They gave him the ball like 9 times in a row. He finally hopped in the end zone. The O-line was not doing anything for him. But this week, I'm confident in David Montgomery going against the Redskins' shit-tier defense. Now, Tariq Cohen, also on the Bears. I like him this week. It seems like they're just using him as like the primary pass-catching back like I thought they would. He's getting a lot more snaps than I thought he would. He's a solid every week start. You're going to be sitting down Chris Thompson and Adrian Peterson. Now, that is only because they're playing against the Bears. The Bears have a great defense. They're not going to allow Chris Thompson or AP to really get free this week. So thank you guys all for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If at any point you actually did end up enjoying, please click that subscribe button because it helps me. It's going to help you. You guys are going to dominate. You watch this whole video. You're like, God damn, that was fucking amazing. So click that subscribe button. I love you all. Click on one of the videos on the screen. Goodbye.